Hello guys, Omni here. I wanted to talk about The Boys. Now, I put off watching this show. It's hard to actually get me to sit down and commit to a show and start one if I don't have a pre-existing interest. But I've been hearing enough about this show to get me to check it out. I mean, it's already superheroes, so that's kind of already on brand for me. Uh, I pretty much have watched everything superhero related here in the past 10 years anyway. So it didn't take that much, but I hadn't. It took me a minute to actually sit down and find the time to watch just these 8 episodes, but I did sit through it. I did finish it here just the other day, and I've been kind of sitting on it here for a little bit. And if I have to give a recommendation to go into this show, is to not watch the trailers. Don't watch even the don't watch any of the trailers. If you've already seen them, it's too late for you. They pretty much spoil the first episode for the most part. And I think if you can go into this series completely blind, I was expecting something like The Watchmen. I didn't expect at all what we got. Now, the trailers are a completely different tone than the actual show. The trailer, at least the ones that I saw, were very kooky and presented this as like a comedy show, and it definitely is not. It has its moments. It definitely has some humor in it, but it is a freaking almost borderline nightmare fuel at times of what it would be like to have rogue superheroes or superheroes that just really gave no craps of the people they're actually saving. And it's done in a very like detached manner, especially with the character of Homelander, which is this world's version of Superman, played by Anthony Starr. And I haven't seen him in anything, and he is, I think, out of everybody in the show, the standout performance. He is just intoxicating to watch. He's menacing. He's hilarious. He's everything you want. Everything I wanted Brightburn to be as far as a dark twist on Superman. Well, they got it in this. Now, I haven't read the graphic novel. I haven't seen the comics that this is based on. So I can't draw a comparison to the original interpretation of these characters. This is purely based on what I saw in the show. And if you want an evil Superman story, this is your story. And it is great. And, everybody else in this show is fantastic. The acting across the board, the production design, this is like movie level production for each of these episodes. Now there's only 8 episodes, and this is just the first season, but they pull no they don't pull any punches with what they go through into this. And yes, it's superheroes, but I know the trailers and the tone and everybody already talking about it should have this at least these expectations in your brain. If you don't know what this is about, this is gory, this is dark, this is messed up, this is not your child's superheroes. This is Game of Thrones for superheroes, except a lot more lighthearted and a lot more existential, I think. But completely different kind of shows, but this isn't the show that you want your kids watching by any stretch of the imagination. And the first 15 minutes of the first episode will definitely cement that in your brain. I honestly lingered on the first 15 minutes of episode 1 for a few days after I watched it, because I honestly, it was personally, I was like, that was too real. And if I thought about that actually happening in real life, it was borderline traumatizing. And it plays into the arc, that the inciting incident of the entire series. And it's just great. Now, everybody brings out top-notch performances in this. Like I said, I already praised Anthony Starr for Homelander. I think the other top performances in this easily has got to be Carl Urban. It's easy, given he kind of plays one note throughout the entire season, so he doesn't have quite the range you would want, at least. But his charisma is just oozing throughout this entire thing. And Jack Quaid, who plays Huey Campbell, which is technically our main protagonist throughout this series, fantastic. He acts the crap out of this role. And the character Annie Starlight, she's played by Erin Moriarty, and this is another one of those faces where I wasn't sure if I'd seen them before until I actually pulled up their IMDb and they were in the first season of Jessica Jones. And then it was clicked. I was like, oh, that's where I know her from. She was basically the character that Kilgrave mind controlled and had her murder her parents in that season, that which Jessica was trying to prove that she wasn't to blame for those killings. So she was that character throughout, and it was really interesting that once that realization came into play. And then you have Elizabeth Shue from Karate Kid, who we're probably going to see in Cobra Kai season 3 in this as a primary role, and she kills it. You love to hate her. This show is a really good commentary on the privatization of superheroes and how superheroes currently today are just about brand. Everybody's trying to get their hands on a superhero. Everybody's trying to get their hands on a franchise. And definitely with how the MCU's been in the past 10, 11 years now, kind of grown in such as corporate entity. They just churn out and produce these movies. It's about the brand. It's about the Marvel Studios. It's about the Disney. It's about the mouse. And that is definitely the undertones of this entire show in a world where superheroes are, managed by a corporation. There's superhero insurance. There's branding deals, sponsorships for superheroes. The Seven, which is essentially this world's version of the Justice League. Each of the main superheroes on the Seven are a spin on the DC Justice League characters. Homelander, of course, being Superman, and so forth and so forth. There's even a Flash character, Wonder Woman character, and so on. But I think the corporate entity ties definitely reflects how superheroes has kind of grown into today as a commodity. And that plays on that if they were real, and how we could privatize that, corporatize that, especially if, they were managed and, not licensed to the military like you would think in some cases they might be. But this is such a, I can't go into spoilers on this show because I really want anybody to go into this completely fresh. I think experiencing this show without knowing anything going in is just going to blow your mind, and you're going to have a fun time. Now, this, as dark as this show gets, as gory and horrible and demeaning as this show gets, it does have a lot of light air to it. There's a lot of fun in it. There's a lot of great jokes. There's a lot of times you're going to laugh, and there's sometimes you're not sure if you're supposed to be doing any of all of those. The show hits every beat, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. This is one of my favorite shows, especially in a long time, and I'd have to see how this plays out and maybe into season 2 to see how this ranks as in my overall shows, but it is definitely really high. And, I expected to have a good time watching this, but I did not expect to actually kind of like just binge through this once I started, and just to fall in love with this world, these characters, and just all of it. There's the full gambit of emotions throughout this entire show. It hits every beat. I think it does everything that it's trying to do perfectly well, and it exceeds my expectations on what it was or was going to be. And grading this, this is an A+ show to me. I think it's a 10 out of 10 A+ show. At least right now, this is where I stand on it. If maybe that may change, or I don't know, rewatch, it might change, but right now this is borderline a perfect show, and I can't wait for season 2. The way the season wraps up definitely leaves you wanting more, and to see where it goes from here, and it is nuts. This whole show is nuts, and I can't wait. I recommend it. If you have Amazon Prime, watch this show. If you don't, find a friend who does, take their login, watch it with them, make them watch it so you can watch it. Check out the show. I definitely give this a hard recommendation. So that's it for now. That's all I got on this. So thank you guys for hanging out and watching and listening. So if you've seen the show, let me know what you thought about it. I would love to know your opinions, your views on it. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. If you like this video, make sure to support the channel by liking, commenting, subscribing. If you want to get notified when my other reviews are up, my reactions, any of the news or updates that I do are posted, make sure to ring the bell. If you didn't like this video, I would love to know in the comments what you didn't like, because I'm always curious about knowing and making improvements to the channel, or even being just corrected when I'm wrong. So yeah, everybody sound off in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on the show, and we'll go from here. That is it for today, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.